What's up YouTube, it's Pico.Blurred back again. What's up YouTube, it's Pico.Blurred back again with another video. I got my dude Eric in the chair. You guys have seen him plenty of times on the channel. If you live in North Carolina in the Triangle area, hit him up. He's a photographer. He'll do you some good portrait shoots, car shoots. If you have product endorsements or if you're selling products, hit him up. I'll leave his Instagram in the description below. So as you guys can see, I already did the fade, but I want to teach you guys how to add texture to the top. For instance, if you're doing a blowout taper, or if you're doing a textured fringe like everybody's doing nowadays, you don't want it laying flat like this. If you want to add texture, there's a couple different ways. The main two major things that you need to use is shear work and a good product. So let's start off with the shear work for now. There are a couple different ways, but I'm going to teach you guys 3 ways that I use as far as shear work goes. So the first way is called point cutting. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to bring hair up. It doesn't matter how much hair you pull up. You just want to grab a section. And basically you're going to tilt your shears backwards and vertical, and you're going to just slice into the hair. And depending on the angle that you cut the hair at, that's just going to add more texture and just more volume. Basically, when you're doing point cutting, you're adding different levels of hair as you're cutting through. And that's what's going to let the hair lay on top of each other. And that's what's going to build that texture, because you're having uneven lengths, but precisely. If you just go in here and you just start chopping away, it's not going to look right, because you're just taking too much hair off at one time and you're not being accurate. You want to be accurate when you're pulling up hair and when you're doing this point cutting, but you are creating uneven lengths, and that's what's going to give you texture. The second way is to come through and do a thing called slicing. So when you're slicing hair, you're going with the grain and you're just kind of gliding across the hair. And as you're doing that, depending on what angle and how many slices you do, that's going to determine the texture. So if you do more straight down the head, that's going to add less texture. And if you add more lines, that's going to add more texture. So you're going to want to do this across the head. And once you're done with that, you brush that hair away, and then you want to go the other direction. So you're going to go across right instead of left. So that's the second way to add texture. The third way is to take your texturizing shears, and the same thing that you were doing when you were point cutting, you're just gonna bring a section of hair up and you're gonna go in there where your fingers are and just cut. That's it. That's gonna take some hair out. It's gonna basically thin it out a little bit. I don't like using the term thinning because we're guys, we don't want thinning hair, but it is kind of thinning the hair, so it makes it more susceptible to your products, and it just makes it easier for the hair to move around and be bouncy. If it's too thick, it's going to be laying down and you can't really manage it the way that you want it. So you're just going to pull the hair up, you're going to slice, pull away, and you added some uneven texture in there. And so that's all fine and good, adding texture through the shear work, but if you really want to add some texture, you need to have a product. So right here, I'm using a texture powder, which is a pretty strong hold. It's not super light, so you don't want to use a whole lot of this, but basically you're gonna shower it over the hair, and you don't want to use too much because it is really strong and really sticky. So, and you can pull up a little bit of hair also just to get into the roots, and you just want to work that in, adding some texture, and you're kind of pulling hair back and then leaning it forward. That's what's going to give you that volume. If you just push it forward, it's going to lay the hair down. You can still get a wavy kind of look doing that, but if you want to add a lot of volume and a lot of texture, you want to make sure that you're pulling at the roots and you're laying it forward. And this look is a bit on the messier side of looks. If you want like a textured fringe type of style, you want to make sure that it's really messy, especially for your clients that don't want to do too much when they wake up, because you know they have stuff they got to do. They don't want to spend all morning styling their hair. So a textured fringe, something like this, is gonna be really good for them. They don't have to do much. They can just wake up and mess up their hair. And it's gonna add a lot of texture and a lot of volume. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you guys like the styling, like the texture that we got out of this fade, drop a like, leave a comment, let me know what you guys wanna see next. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate all the support. But it's your boy Pico.Blurred, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.